Welcome to the Limitless Entrepreneur Podcast, your weekly dose of strategies and mindset tools to build a business in alignment with your purpose and to get you playing a bigger game. I'm your host, Nicole. Hello and welcome to the Limitless Entrepreneur Podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Nicole, and we are here with a solo episode today where I am talking to my fellow manifesting generators. I am a manifesting generator. I am an emotional manifesting generator. I'm a 5-1 emotional manifesting generator, if you want to get really specific. And this is for my fellow Manny Gens. Now, generators, you have a really similar setup as us because you have the same strategy and, well, a different authority depending on whether you're sacral or emotional, but you're the closest tie to us. Manifesting generators, we are generators first. We do have manifesting elements because we have a motor to the throat center. However, as a manifesting generator, what makes us different from the generators is that motor to the throat, which means we have a little bit more get up and go, meaning that we have more of an urge to create. We have more of an urge to create new things. We love new stuff. So there's a little bit of that manifestor energy of like, I have this idea, I have this thing I want to bring into the world. And now I'm kind of over it. Like I bring it into the world and now I'm like, okay, now I'm done, on to the next thing. Really common manifesting generator sort of way to feel. I did this thing, now I'm kind of over it. And what I want to talk today about is, and I do want to highlight the difference is there that we don't get to really move on the things that we just have ideas about. We do need to be in response to things. And that's a really key element that I think gets overlooked and what drives manifesting generators into a whole. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you today about. Manifesting generators, how to stay focused and how to know when you're being multi-passionate and being in alignment with being a multi-passionate being, and when you're being just distracted, and when you are avoiding, and when you're procrastinating, because there's a fine line between these, and that line divides us between being really successful and being really powerful forces, and us being scattered and feeling like we're kind of a mess. Things are all over the place. I want to talk a little bit about this process, and you might be at a different stage of this, and maybe we can speed up your stage so that you can get to a point of really harnessing your design so that you are creating great things. Because manifesting generators, we're really amazing beings. Everybody's an amazing being. But what I love about being a manifesting generator, if I'm talking to my people, the powerful thing about it is we have so much energy to do the things that we love. And we are so lit up by it because there is this like creation element to it. I love what I'm doing, but I really love like what I'm bringing into the world. And when we're in response, when we're using it well, we're responding to something and we're like, yes, this is what I want to do. And we move on that. And then that spurs ideas for how we can take it further, and we can make it different, and we can change it, and we can evolve what the initial idea was, and it can become this beautiful thing that we're creating. And that's what's so magical about us. And so generators, you have an element of this, but you're not necessarily moving quite as fast as we are because of that motor connection to the throat isn't there. So that's where we're moving very, very quickly. And we take off like a rocket ship and we have the power to sustain that momentum. So unlike the manifestors where, they go like a Ferrari for a short period of time, and then they're like, I'm done, and they need to rest. We don't need to rest as much. We have more of the power to do all of the things, not just have the vision, but to actually bring the vision into reality. So we love to do the work. Now, the downside of this is that we can get really busy and be overly busy and burn ourselves out doing the wrong things. And part of that comes from being distracted versus being multi-passionate. So I don't know if you felt like the free pass, the permission slip when you found out you were a manifesting generator and you heard you're a manifesting generator and you're meant to be multi-passionate, it almost can give people the free pass to be scattered. And I don't want you to feel conditioned by feeling scattered. I love it was certainly this opening moment for me, like where I was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. There's a reason I'm like this. There's a reason I like to do so many different things and I have so many interests. However, there's also distraction, and we never want our design to be an excuse for us living in the not self. So let me talk a little bit about how to make this distinction and how you can be looking at it and see if you're what are you doing here? Are you distracted, or are you being an aligned, multi-passionate being? So there's always a decision. So the one quick tip that I'm going to give you, it always gets drawn back to one thing. There's one thing that you can always be falling back on to figure out if you are in or out of alignment. And that is your strategy. Your strategy is to respond. So if you are doing things because you are truly in response to something and your sacral led you to the next thing that you wanted to work on, then consider it that's a good sign that you are in alignment. You're following something, you're following your truth. But more often than not, what happens is you're not following a sacral response. You're just sort of distracting yourself from the thing. You're not really into the thing that you're doing because it wasn't a sacral response that brought you there. So the project you're working on, the thing that's on your to-do list that you were convinced was a sacral response, maybe actually wasn't. Or maybe it was, and you're an emotional authority and you didn't wait out your emotional wave. So you made that decision from not an empowered place, not an aligned place. You actually made it from the not self. Because here's the thing with manifesting generators. We want to move fast. We really hate going slow, get very frustrated when things are not happening on our very fast timeline. And what that causes us to do is try to make things happen. And this is the biggest trap for manifesting generators, is we're trying to make things happen. We're initiating, even though it doesn't feel that way, because we had this great idea, and then we feel really excited about it and we start to do it. But that's an initiation. It's not response. The idea that you have, it could be a response eventually, but it's not at the idea level. Something pops in your head and you're like, oh, I got this idea to do a launch on this, or to put this program out, or to try doing this. Whatever it is, if it's just an idea that popped into your head from nothing, you're not actually in response. So one of the things that you can do is, it doesn't mean that it's not right for you. So if you have an idea and you're like, I want to do a launch, or I want to create a program around teaching people how to rewire their brain. I'm going to do a rewiring your brain workshop, and I'm going to make a program out of it. So you have this whole idea that comes to you. Now, that idea might be a correct idea for you, but at this stage, it's not. But as a manifesting generator, what we'll look to do, and there can be other things in your chart that will make this even more likely to be happening for you. So something like an open head center and an open ajna, or lots of left pointing arrows in your variables, or lots of motor centers defined. Any of these things, and there's a ton of them that could be pushing you to this, a defined root center. There are so many aspects, and that's why looking at the whole chart can be so powerful, and getting a reading and having a real understanding of how your chart works, or being in a longer term program like the Limitless Entrepreneur, where you're showing up and we're noticing where you're operating out of alignment. Because it feels, when we have just the information, it can feel like we're doing it right. And that's the experiment. You do it and you see if it works. You see if it's working for you. And if it's not, then you know that you have to tinker some more. You have to experiment some more. Oh, maybe those aren't responses. Maybe I have to look into that a little bit more. But that's where having support on that journey can be life-changing, because I have people come into the program all the time and they're talking to me about what they're doing. And I'm like, that's not response, you're initiating. And manifesting generators, what we have to do is you have to accept your design. You have to accept your design, that you are not a manifester. So when you stop trying to be when you stop being in love with being a failed manifester, and you fall in love with being a successful generator, life will change for you. But I find that with manifesting generators, it's a whole lot harder than getting the generators to follow response, because there isn't that constant press on the gas pedal, that feeling like I got to move fast, because we love to move fast. With manifesting generators, getting mani-gens to slow down and then forget about it. If you're an emotional manifesting generator, then there's even more like hang out and wait. You need to wait to make those decisions. But for manifesting generators, until you get that response, you don't have the key isn't in the ignition. The car is still in park, and you're hitting the gas and you're wondering why it's not going. And that's, you're driving with the parking brake on, and you're ruining the car that way. The sacral is actually not on when you get an idea. So it's really important for you to accept who you are. And that's not a limitation. It's efficient. It's stop doing the thing that's not working for you because it isn't working. But that's the thing. For many gens, it feels like it is, because it feels good to be busy. But then we look at the results that we have and we wonder, why am I not further with all that I'm doing? I'm putting in a lot of energy. I feel like it's going well. Why am I not getting the results that I want? And the answer is, well, you're not really in response. You're not really responding to anything. So when you get an idea, that idea, it's like put a pin in it, hang out with it, and then see if something comes to you that gives you a response. So I want to do a rewiring your brain program. I'm going to do a whole program on NLP and how to rewrite the programs in your mind and get you speaking to yourself differently. So you have this whole idea. Now see if you are walking in the store and there's a book sitting right in front of you that says like rewire your brain. And you clock that. And now does your sacral go, mm-hmm. And then you're in a conversation with a client and they're talking about things that are in that program. They're actually talking about the problems that they have, and they're telling you what they feel like they need to do. And your answer is something to do with rewiring the brain. Oh, and you're working with them on that, and you're getting lit up by it, and you are excited about it. And they're telling you, this is changing my life. That's response. Now you've taken something from an idea and you've moved it to response. You've allowed the universe to present you with something that has allowed your sacral to respond. Your sacral can't respond to an idea. And notice that you get an idea about something, you feel excited about it, but this is the tricky thing. This is the experiment. Your throat can get excited because as a manifesting generator, your throat is defined, and there's a motor pushing energy to it. There's a motor that wants to be expressed through that throat center. So you get excited about an idea, and you really want ideas right now because you want to move fast. It's your not self that's excited. It is your not self moving on that idea. Your sacral hasn't even chimed in because it wasn't asked. Your sacral is going to respond to things from your outside world. Your sacral is going to go have a conversation with somebody about it and see. But you'll notice that when we manufacture these, sometimes we get a response, but it's typically not as excited as it was from that not self getting the idea, from our mind getting involved and being like, that's the answer. That's going to get us moving faster. Let's do it. It's not from the gut. It's not true for you yet. Doesn't mean it's not right. You just haven't asked the right question to the right part of you yet. You haven't been presented with something. And it's not limiting you. The common feeling in the beginning for manifesting generators, and I mean, this is true with everybody with their strategy and their authority. We look at it as this big burden in the beginning. I want to do it this way. I can't. So I have to do it this way. Oh, what a drag. Oh, it's going to take longer. We put all these stories on it. But it's actually saving you, because wouldn't it be so much better to hang out and enjoy yourself and be lit up by things and have the right things brought to you and not run down the wrong street at top speed and then run all the way back home when we realize that that's not where we belong. But now the right way is presented to us and we're tired. And maybe we're worried that that way isn't right because the last way wasn't right. And how can I really trust myself? So this is where it's saving you energy, and it's saving you from that feeling of that disappointment. And what our not self theme is as manifesting generators is frustration. It's frustration. If you're frustrated, then you're not aligned. That's the red flag. But again, what manifesting generators do, we get frustrated and then we try to work our way out of frustration. So we keep efforting. We try to figure it out. What can I do to not feel frustrated anymore? How can I fix this? The counterintuitive answer, but it is the correct answer, is to stop, to pause and go do something that feels good. Engage your sacral. It is the partner that you need in life. That is the partner that is going to make everything work for you, one way or the other. Now, I want to be really clear here that it doesn't always work out the way that we have planned, but it is always working out for our highest good. It's showing us and bringing us down to the next milestone, whether that milestone is exactly how it might not be the income level that we were thinking. It might not be the milestone that we had on the vision board, but it's getting us closer to what we need in order to hit that milestone that we have. And it's building trust in the process. It's building trust in the mechanics of your design, because that's really what human design is. It's mechanical. We're giving you a strategy and we're giving you an authority. This is how it comes in. So it's a very masculine system in that way, where it's like, when this happens, if this says yes, then do it. When this happens and this says no, then don't do it. We're giving you steps to follow, so it can be very clear. However, in practice, it takes practice because it's not always so clear. Most of us can't hear our sacral because we are so busy initiating that our sacral is like, it's like giving up. We don't even hear it. We don't listen to it. And there are lots of reasons why the sacral can be muffled. If you're an emotional authority, there's an emotional component to your inner conversation, which can make it harder to hear and to feel that sacral response. This is why we practice. This is why you start to just notice when it's turned on and when it's not. Notice when you're working and things feel good. But when we talk about distraction and we talk about, being multi-passionate, it's really important for you to ask yourself, am I responding to something when you go to do something new? Is it right for me to stay in this thing that I'm doing? Or is it right for me to do this thing that I feel excited about? Well, is it in response that you're being pulled in another direction? And is your sacral guiding you to that next step? Because remember, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't have to end things necessarily. If something feels done for now, but you might come back to it, that's okay. And that's really common. You don't have to burn it all down. In fact, if you're following as a manifesting generator, the multi-passionate part is about keeping the sacral lit up. It is about going to that next thing, getting really excited. And more often than not, what you'll find is that now invigorated you to go back to the other thing. It gave you an idea. It gave you something that's like, ooh, now that gave me, that like filled in this gap for this other thing that I was working on. It's so common for Manny Gens, myself included, to have more than one thing that we're working on. But it's really important that we focus the energy on the things that we're working on and not be just pulled off in a million directions, that we're really following a response to the things that we're doing and not just for the sake of it. Oh, I'm multi-passionate, so I'm allowed to have 20 different things on my plate. Is that serving you? And are those truly, did all 20 of those things end up on your plate because of a response? Were you actually led to them? Or do you just have 20 ideas? Because it's not the same thing. So I wanted to draw that distinction because this has been coming up with people a lot lately, and myself included. When I started to really dig into response and really like not move unless I was responding, I naturally just got more focused. And this is how I wasn't leaking energy into the projects that were truly not correct for me. I stopped doing things because I should. I stopped doing things because I felt like I should be moving faster. I stopped doing things because I was afraid that I didn't have enough going on. I stopped doing things because it was the end of the month. I stopped doing things because it was the beginning of the month. I didn't let any of that guide me anymore. I only let my sacral guide me, and I weighed out my emotional wave. It was scary at first because I was doing a lot less. And I make more money now. I just do. I make more money spending my energy and spending my time being more focused and this is what it means when we talk about potency. I'm no longer leaking energy into 20 things on the list because of fear and the need to move fast and all of these other not self themes. My undefined root center saying like, we've got to do this so we can be free of the pressure, just feeling like I need to figure it out. The pressure of my open head center and the pressure of my open root of I need to do this so that I can get this done, so that I can have it done, so that I can put this out, so that I can make more money, so that I can be more secure, so that I can be more successful. That when I stopped allowing that voice to guide me and I listened to the sacral and I waited out the wave, the list got so clear. I was able to look at things and really chip away at projects. Now I'll have like 3 projects going at one time. And there are some days where I'm like, nope, I'm just not working on that today. I'm not feeling it. But I'm always feeling something that's on my list because they are all correct for me. And I have the energy for all of them, just not all of them at once. And that's the balancing act for manifesting generators. That's how you start to use your magic, because I'm excited about what I'm doing every damn day. And it feels great. And things get done and they get done well. Progress is made, but it's done in my way, in a way that's in alignment for me. And that changes everything. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that this sheds some light on it. If you're a manifesting generator, if you have kids who are manifesting generators, really notice how they move depending on how old they are. If they're teenagers, you can start working with them on this so that they're getting used to that sacral response and having a lot of fun with what they're doing, but helping them become focused. Like I said, there are many other factors that can contribute to the ways that you distract yourself or that voice that's talking to you. I mentioned my open head and my open root. Those fueled and that pressure pushed me into the not self. So this is where a reading can come in very, very handy. You can book a reading with me at nicolelano.me. We'll drop the links in the show notes as well if you want to do that. These are private readings with me if you want to see how your chart works, and you can talk about the things that are going on with you. But if you want more support in your human design journey and in your business growth journey, using it for business, for productivity, using your design so that you are in alignment and your business is in alignment so that you are creating growth in alignment without burning out, where it feels good, then the Limitless Entrepreneur is definitely something that you want to check out. Please go to our website at nicolelaino.me/enroll. We will also put that in the show notes if you want to check out what we have in there. That is an amazing program where you get coached by me and you get to be held and supported through your human design journey, both building your business and your life around your design, and not in a way that feels crazy, and in a way where you're supported in your experiment. Really amazing things happen when we do that. So I hope that you found this useful. I hope that you found this helpful. Please share this with your friends. If you're getting a lot out of this show, please share it on social media. Tag me on Instagram at Nicole Laino Official. Send me a DM over there if you want to tell me what you thought of this episode. And please let people know about the show. I really love getting the word out about this. This is my favorite thing in the world, this podcast. I thank you for listening to it. I thank you for being a part of this show, part of our family here. And I appreciate your support. And remember, you are only limited by the limitations that you accept. And when you stop accepting those limitations, that is when you become limitless. So go out there and be limitless, my people. I will see you next time. If you loved this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you want to stay in touch with us, we would love to have you as a part of our Facebook community, Practical Manifestors. It's a community for process-driven women looking for clear and actionable steps to embodying a life of wealth and alignment. Join us at Practical Manifestors in Facebook, or go to www.innerceogroup.com.